of travel and tourism is often overlooked. Ours is the sector connecting people and businesses to the world. And while life has changed in 2020, travel remains an essential part of life. And not just for the traveller, but for every business, every community, and every ecosystem, in every destination they visit. For nearly a decade, we have consistently outpaced the global economy, and across the world, governments are recognizing and realizing the importance of investment in their sector. But beyond the data, there is an often unrealized yet equally important chapter to this remarkable story. Because our sector wields the incredible power of positive change. Together in travel and tourism, we not only support and improve the lives of people from across the globe, but sustain and care for the fabric and infrastructure of the world we live in. For every hotel stay, for every flight taken, for every destination visited, we create jobs which provide people the opportunity to shape their own future, to feed their families, preserve their cultures and traditions, and improve the quality of the lives they lead. In the last 5 years, 1 in 4 of all new jobs were created by our incredible sector, which accounts for 330 million jobs around the world. We play an important role in empowering women and young people too. Research shows that within travel and tourism, women make up 54% of the workforce. It also employs a higher share of youth workers than other industries, who account for 30% of the sector's employment, embracing a diverse, inclusive, and multicultural workforce. The revenue we generate also supports the cost of infrastructure projects to improve education, to build housing and provide health services, increasing the overall well-being of life in local communities, whilst redistributing socio-economic power, helping developing nations prosper. And it's not just the human world that feels the positive effects of travel. It also improves the natural world too. Conservation and anti-poaching efforts around the world rely on the income from tourism to defend the natural wonder of our planet and provide us with the means to travel and experience the world in a sustainable, positive way. We at the World Travel and Tourism Council are realizing a new future. For the last 30 years, we have been the voice of the global private sector. By uniting government and industry leaders and engaging with communities, we will lead the economic recovery of our sector to a safe and sustainable future. A future where we will continue to create jobs, empower and protect the people, communities and natural wonders that make travel and tourism so special. Because this is the power to create a better world. The power of travel and tourism.
Distinguished guests, would you please welcome to the stage President and CEO of Hilton and the Chair of the World Travel and Tourism Council, Chris Nassetta.
Well, good morning, everyone. I am thrilled to be able to welcome you to our 2021 Global Summit for the World Travel and Tourism Council. We have been a long time in the making to bring this event together. Last we were together was in Seville, Spain 2 years ago. I think we all know last year we're not able to gather. And I have to say, as many stages as I have had the privilege of being on over many years, I've never felt more privileged than I do today to be on this stage, because this is the first event that I've been able to be on a stage with live participants that are numbering, I think at this point, Gloria, 600. So it's amazing to see everybody out here. For those of you that are here, thank you for coming and joining us in beautiful Cancun and from around the world. We're hosting our first hybrid event, and I think we have thousands of people that are joining us from around the world. So important today that we rally together as we get through, hopefully in the not too distant future, this global pandemic and get back on our feet as an industry. I wanted to say a very special thank you to all of our distinguished guests, particularly our host who's here with us today, Carlos Joaquin Gonzalez, who is the governor of Quintana. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your patience in helping us be able to pull this event off in such a beautiful destination. We also have ministers of tourism from Mexico, Saudi Arabia, Spain, Portugal, Greece, and many other dignitaries. To all of you, welcome. Of course, our strategic sponsors, American Express, the Saudi Arabia Ministry of Tourism, Global Rescue, Hilton, and our diamond sponsor and venue host, Palace Resort. Appreciate all that you all have done to bring this to reality, and thank you to the rest of our gold, silver, and bronze sponsors. And last but not least, I would be remiss in not thanking Gloria and the entire WTTC team. The last year, I think for all of us in this industry, frankly, for all of us, around the world, for all of humanity has been one of the most challenging years, but certainly travel and tourism has been at the epicenter of the issues. And Gloria and the team have kept the spirits high, kept our advocacy going, and made sure that we were front and center as we were both addressing the crisis and thinking about the opportunities ahead. So Gloria, like all of us, doing more with less during the pandemic, you and the team have done a phenomenal job. And in organizing this event, which is an extraordinary effort in a normal year, you can imagine trying to be one of the first big live hybrid events that's been pulled off in the world was quite an undertaking. So Gloria, thank you. You did it. We had lots of conversations. We were worried, but here we are, 600 people in the room, all safe and secure, and thousands more joining in to help us lead this industry to the next era of travel. Before I get started, I want to do something that I know is important to me, and I think important to many in this room, and that's to remember an incredible industry leader and a man that was a dear friend, while a competitor, was one of my very close friends, and that's Arne Sorensen. Arne left, I think we all know, an incredible mark on this amazing industry of ours, and with Marriott Associates all around the world as one of the great leaders in our industry and for that company. His legacy will obviously live on for many years, and I know many of you, like me, are feeling his loss and keeping his family in your thoughts and prayers. So I thought it would be nice to take a moment and honor Arne, have a moment of silence, and for all of those lives as well that were lost in this last year to COVID. The pandemic fully, but we can see the light at the end of the tunnel. And I think it's fair to say 2020 challenged all of us enormously. But we've persevered as an industry in so many inspiring ways. I saw it every single day with my teams that represent us in 120 countries around the world, all of which were dealing with this. And I know every single person in this room can say the same of their own organization. While we're not through it, we are on the brink of recovery, and it is critically important, more than ever in the history of our industry, that we work together to reunite as travel resumes around the world. Because the one thing that we do know is there are tremendous benefits when people broaden their horizons and build understanding across cultures and borders. Fundamentally, while some will say this is stunted travel permanently, I don't think that is the case. People's desire for experiences and connections hasn't changed. In fact, I would argue the pandemic has only heightened those trends, and as certainly we talk to our customers, it supports that. As people are really eager to get out and create those new memories, those special moments, to make those connections, whether that be for leisure, whether that be for business, whether that be at an incredible conference like this, things that just can't be done on a screen. As an industry, I think it's really important, and we'll be talking about this throughout the next couple days, that we seize this moment. In my mind, we have an opportunity, but more importantly, I think everybody in this room and everybody joining us around the world has a responsibility to reconnect the world and build a truly inclusive growth profile in our industry for our children, our grandchildren, and beyond. Over the last year, we have had a really good chance to see what happens when travel and tourism is stalled. The economic and social impacts are enormous. Our industry's contribution to global GDP dropped by an astounding 49% last year, and we lost 62 million jobs in 1 year. This is why, as we focus on the future, we've got to be more focused than ever on creating new opportunities for people to build better lives for themselves and their families, because we know travel and tourism is an engine of opportunity. We have to be focused on protecting the destinations where we live, where we work, where we travel, and we have to be focused on truly driving inclusive growth that prioritizes investing in diverse talent, the people serving our customers every day on the front lines who are going to be the future, the future leaders of our industry. We know creating a safe environment is the key to unlocking travel. For that matter, it always has been. These advancements we've seen in therapeutics and testing and vaccines are very encouraging. In fact, the development of vaccines, I think, is really a modern miracle. And we're seeing huge progress around the world, different speeds, but huge progress around the world in distributing those vaccines. That said, what we know from the past, with other disruptions and crises that we've had, this needs to be a coordinated effort. We know what happens when every country sort of retreats to their own corner and deals with it themselves in their own way, and they don't work together to combat a crisis, in this case, this terrible disease. Our sector needs to lead the way in advocating internationally for the opening of borders and common sense approaches to ensure safety and consistency at every step of the traveler journey as we progress through this recovery. We can do this. We can open borders. We can get people moving. We have 600 of you that moved to Cancun to be here today in a very safe way. We just have to be intelligent and coordinated in how we do it. Measures like seamless, secure, and internationally accepted health credentialing systems and widespread effective testing are certainly going to help reduce the need for quarantining, allowing travelers to move safely and more freely around the world. And it's going to be important that we work together with countries and with the private sector all over the world to bring it to life with existing technologies that we have and new technology solutions where we need them. Together, we have to focus on building partnerships across all sectors and push for the collaboration that we know is essential for our recovery. WTTC safe travel protocols are an incredible example of how our industry quickly came together to reassure travelers and build confidence in their ability to travel safely while creating experiences that they expect. I thank Gloria and her team. They were all over this very early in advocating and working with many governments around the world on these protocols, and it has made a difference, and it gives us an amazing foundation to build from. As WTTC has done throughout its 30-year history, it will play a central and critical role in uniting our industry, lending their expertise and advocating for what will benefit us all as we work towards a full recovery in travel and tourism. Everyone in this room and everyone logged in virtually around the world is going to be critical in making this a reality. We all have to look past our competitive spirits and seek out opportunities to collaborate and share ideas that will help propel this industry forward from the crisis once and for all. We all know and see that our industry has the ability to transform lives. Not long ago, our industry was in fact the second fastest growing hospitality, industry of all industries in the world, outpacing broader global economic growth. We absolutely can reclaim that momentum and continue to be a force for good around the world. We cannot back down from this moment. Together, we need to redefine a new age of travel that propels us into the future, powering progress for all of our stakeholders. This is a huge opportunity in front of us. I know a lot of people think travel has been forever impaired. We all in this room know it hasn't. We talked for many years about the golden age of travel that got disrupted by COVID. The reality is the next 2 to 3 years when we get through this pandemic, if we do our jobs, will be better than what we had before, because we know that people want to travel. They want to see the world. We just have to give them the means to do that. We can emerge from this period and build a better world for all of us to travel. We must do it. It's an imperative. It is an awesome responsibility, and I have every confidence with the people in this room and those around the world that as an industry, we've done it before, and we will do it again. Thank you again. It's been wonderful to serve for the last 3 years as your chair, and I will continue to be very actively involved as I'm not going anywhere from an industry point of view. So I've appreciated my three years with you. Now I would like to invite Gloria and Governor Gonzalez, if I could, to join me on the stage. Governor, we just wanted to give a very special thank you to you for your leadership throughout the pandemic and your support of travel and tourism as our industry recovers. On behalf of all of us here at WTTC, we're so appreciative of your partnership and so appreciative that you made the time and effort to be patient with us, to be able to bring this event here and be able to host such a fabulous event, although it took a little longer than any of us had hoped. Your leadership here in this region of the world is, I think, a fabulous example for what others can do around the world. So thank you very much, and we would like to demonstrate how committed we are to Quintana Roo, the Yucatan, Jalisco, and Baja California Sur by presenting you with this award. Gloria?
It's the Global Leaders Award. Congratulations, Governor, and thank you very much for your leadership. You can hold it here because of protocols. I cannot give it to you, just like that.
Gracias.
Thank you.
Governor, it is worth mentioning that members represented in this room and around the world have a plan to invest $2.5 billion in your region in the coming years. We think will create more than 100,000 jobs. So you've done a fabulous job helping get us through this crisis, and our member companies are gonna help on the other side of the crisis by investing and creating jobs. So once again, thank you very much for your leadership.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Muchas gracias. Gracias, Gloria. Gracias. Buenos días. Good morning.
Good morning. It is a great pleasure to be here today with all of you. And I thank again WTTC for the initiative of holding the summit, annual summit here in Cancun, Quintana Roo. It is very important for all the destinations in Quintana Roo and in Mexico in general to be able to have this summit meeting here in our state. I also would like to invite you all in order to visit, to get to know our beauties and attractions of sun, beach, jungle, and an ocean that will embrace us with all this wonderful nature. Likewise, I really appreciate the fact that you have awarded me this prize on behalf of the government of Quintana Roo and the entire population of Quintana Roo. I really appreciate this honor, although I do know very well that receiving an award is always something that is engaging us to work even harder and more and closer to our society. Tourism is a very important sector for Quintana Roo. However, we have been facing a very difficult moment since last year, like practically the entire tourism industry has. And this pandemic that struck us on a complex global scenario when it was always necessary to consider new strategies, coordinated answers, and in an urgent manner among all of us, because mostly we needed to take care of the collective interest so we could all overcome the crisis. Suddenly, we found a scenario never seen before, and a population mostly connected to the tourism industry ended up without productive activities and without a wage to bring to the families. But most important was to preserve the health of everybody. So we had to adopt temporary measures such as staying home, stopping any public actions, massive groupings, reduce commercial or work areas, only essential activities, to apply social distancing, the restriction of city mobilization, the paralyzation of economic activities. These were complicated and harsh measures. However, we needed them for the well-being and the health of everybody. Of course, regulated and supported in the framework of the rule of law, with never affecting human rights of the citizenship, which is a basis of democratic societies. The sequelae of pandemic, the high possibilities of infections with human interaction, the risk of death, the application of restrictive measures that I've already mentioned, made great difficulties in all the order we were used to. We had to do something extraordinary in the normal activities because the condition of the operation of economy, of normality, social relations, educations, of our own health are no longer the same, and they have become extraordinary conditions. If we consider the challenges we posed before ourselves in view of this pandemic, the priority was to work paying special attention to human dimension. Our priority was to save lives and avoid infections. We focused on a social dimension that has to do with the most vulnerable sectors, poverty and inequality. This is what we did under the premise that we needed to take care everybody, all the citizens, female and male. Also maintaining the jobs of our productive plant, and we designed a plan, each one from our own position, enterprise, or institution. We had to do whatever was necessary to take care of himself and reactivate economy and job protections to help the economy of the families. Quintana Roo must continue being one of the states with the highest growth rate, forcing us to keep on promoting the opening of markets commercially, as well as consolidating it as a great promoter of our economy. And with this, support the trust of the investors and increasing the number of hotel rooms and lodging centers. The strategies implemented to promote development and economic diversification will help us in this post-pandemic era for economic recovery. And we already have better indicators in the number of flights, passengers, ground, air passengers, hotel occupancy, and access to the different parks. Let's understand that today is our moment, and we cannot allow that resignation and fear will gain over hope. There is still a lot to do. We cannot miss the increase of social demands, economic, cultural, and environmental demands, because people expect more and demands more. Everybody wants more opportunities for progressing, and opportunities must reach everybody. And this is a consequence of the vast potential of tourism and its growing capacity to face one of the most urgent challenges of the current world, such as social and economic growth, inclusive development, and the preservation of environment. This being a sector which one of every 11 jobs is assigned to, tourism is also for thousands of Quintana Roo citizens a source of its livelihood, and this is why we need to take care of it, protect it, and promote it. This is why I reiterate my full willingness to keep on working hand in hand with all of you for the economic recovery of the sector. We will continue moving forward and being a facilitating instrument for anyone willing to invest, to support, to grow, or to find new horizons. Be certain and have the guarantee that you will have all the possible facilities, because we are certain that we will continue successfully triggering the development and growth of our destinations. And again, I want to welcome you. I want to thank you all for this excellent organization in this great event, having the first opportunity of having a world-class event in the tourism sector after this terrible pandemic, these terrible times, especially that it is here in Cancun, Quintana Roo, where we are restarting the travel and tourism sector, most probably with a new way, with more preventive measures, however, with the possibility of the growth of all the other sectors for the well-being of the social and economic development of our people. Thank you so much, and you be welcome.
It's just really horrible to just not be seeing anyone.
My parents, for their mental health, it's not very okay.
If they had jobs, they wouldn't be arguing about the money they have.
Since my mom didn't have a lot of money, the internet kept going in and out, so I couldn't join all of my classes.
It makes me feel sad and upset that they have to leave very far just to get some work.
It's the joy on her face that I miss.
If it was to get better, the animals wouldn't get killed. The rangers would be there to protect the animals.
They're not allowed to fish, even though they're still doing it.
And I feel really upset for the turtles and other creatures who are getting their homes damaged. Help us make more people in the government to help stop those people. they're gonna come over and they're gonna see what we're doing.
It's nice to have other people to celebrate our culture.
So then more people will want to visit our country and see how amazing it is.
And more people are learning about it so they could like join the festivals.
Everyone learning about the history.
I think that they would love the festival because there's so much joy and happiness.
And when you go on tour, you're funding something that is good. Everything's gonna be all right.
Please welcome President and CEO of the World Travel and Tourism Council, Gloria Guevara.
Good morning and good afternoon and evening for the ones joining us online. I always learn from children every day, including my own. Dear WTTC members, excellencies, friends, welcome to our Global Summit. Welcome to the friends that are here today in person and online from all over the world. We have all seen and experienced the effect of the pandemic. But hearing from the social impact from these children reminded us that everything, every decision we make, every recommendation we share has an impact on our present and our future. COVID has devastated our sector and the lives and livelihoods of hundreds of millions of people around the world. People who depend on travel and tourism to survive, to provide to their families, and to put food on their table. This virus has not only changed how we engage with each other, but how we connect. Just look at us today, sitting almost 2 meters of distance apart. First time ever. But it has changed our today and our tomorrow. Our 2021 economic impact research shows that our sector lost almost $4.5 trillion. And as Chris mentioned, 62 million jobs have been destroyed. Travel and tourism GDP contribution fell 4.7 trillion in 2020 from nearly 9.2. That's a decrease massive, 49%. Basically, our contribution to the global economy decreased from 10.4% to 5.5%. Leisure spending decreased 49%, while business 61%. And just to put it in context, the worst crisis that we had before was the financial crisis. Well, the COVID had 18 times the impact of the financial crisis, 18 times. The global community has now been dealing with COVID pandemic for more than a year. And as we look back to when this crisis started, we can truly see the impact. On a global scale, we have lost lives and livelihoods. On a personal level, many of us have lost friends and loved ones. But while 2020 was not the year we expected, this was a year when people really came together. We saw our sector joining forces to support our workforce and our local communities, from using our facilities as emergency hospitals, offering hotel rooms to doctors and nurses, for instance, to providing meals to millions of people, and transforming convention centers or cruises and medical facilities. We have seen an amazing response. But one thing has been clear. Our members, the leaders and captains of our sector, have truly stepped up. I'm very proud. I have learned through their example that leadership matters, especially during difficult times. Chris, our chair, and our board, and all the members have not only provided guidance, but valuable insight. They have been our North Star. And at WTTC, we have worked tirelessly to support not only the members, but the entire travel and tourism ecosystem. I want to take this opportunity to thank you all and to also acknowledge and thank the amazing WTTC team for their hard work and dedication in these very challenging times. Big applause for everyone. With the knowledge of our members and public health experts, we created the Safe Travel Global Protocols, as Chris mentioned, and the STAMP, to ensure that we don't repeat the same mistakes of the past, and we create consistency for the sector and reassurance for the traveler. The response has been impressive. Over 260 destinations they have received this recognition today. And by the way, Cancun was the first one, or one of the first ones. Congratulations there, Governor, as well. A great example. We engage with more than 150 governments to advocate for policies and measures needed for the survival of our sector and our workforce. We receive great support in countries small and large, and I would like to thank the government leaders here today because your partnership has been amazing and your support very valuable. Thank you very much to all the government leaders that are joining us here today. And as one of the major challenges in the pandemic was probably the international coordination in 2020, we worked very closely with governments and the G20 community. And I would especially want to thank and acknowledge the leadership of Saudi Arabia, the 2020 chair of the G20. His Excellency Ahmed Al-Khatib, Minister of Tourism, supported the private sector and made history by inviting us to take part on the G20 tourism meeting for the first time ever, where we presented a plan to recover 100 million jobs. But the most important, for the first time ever, the importance of the private sector in travel and tourism was included in the Leaders' Declaration. Thank you very much for your leadership as well. Thank you. What a year we had. What is clear to me is that we're not going back to 2019. We're moving forward. Travel and tourism will come out of this crisis stronger and better. But it is crucial that we continue working together to achieve recovery, both financially and socially. We need to be united. That is why we have chosen our theme for this year, Uniting the World for Recovery. And while our agenda has evolved, it remains very aligned with the priorities we had set before the crisis. For years at WTTC, we have been working on seamless traveler journey, which enabled by technologies such as biometrics. As a result of COVID, we have got one step further to create now safe and seamless traveler journey, which includes both health and physical security in the traveler journey. We had also defined an agenda for sustainability before, back in 2018, when we partnered with UNFCCC, UNEP, Harvard, and other experts. That agenda has now been accelerated. Over the next 2 days, we will assess where we are, what we have learned, and how we will use that to build a more resilient future. We invite you to think through the lessons from the crisis, to help us to accelerate this recovery, and to make meaningful steps to ensure that we're making a positive and a lasting difference. As we accelerate our recovery, we need to redouble our efforts to remove barriers for mobility, remove quarantines, focus on testing. You all have been tested, by the way. Thank you for being part of this bubble. And accelerate the vaccination rollout globally is also fundamental while supporting the safe travel protocols. And by turning this crisis into an opportunity, we can also make sure that we become more inclusive and more sustainable. Let us remember that, among others, women have been disproportionately affected by the pandemic. We, women, account for 54% of the sector's employment. And in this context, that's good. It's a very diverse sector. I would like to invite you all to join us as we're going to be launching tomorrow the first Cancun Women Initiative. We want to lead by example again and focus on the policies that can help us to empower women, remove barriers, so that we can ensure and shape a better future for all of us. As a sector that accounted in 2019 and still today for 1 in the 10 jobs in the planet and generated 1 in 4 of all the new jobs around the world, we play a crucial role in the future. Our sector not only provides a lot of opportunities, helps us to reduce poverty, brings hope, and not only changes lives, but it changes the world. I truly believe that this is the beginning of a new chapter, the beginning of the recovery. We have much work to do, but I have no doubt for the millions of people that depend on us, that united, we will make it happen. I would like to thank the Governor, Joaquin Gonzalez, and the government of Quintana Roo and his team, his excellent team actually, for hosting us today. Your leadership has been very valuable. Thank you, Governor. Once again, we appreciate your leadership. Muchas gracias y felicidades por el reconocimiento. I would like also to thank Pepe Chapur, Gibran, the Chapun brothers, and the family, and the entire Palace Resort team for having us and making us feel at home. Thank you very much for hosting us. Muchas gracias. Let me also thank all of our sponsors that they have been instrumental in this summit. And I would like to thank you, all of you, for joining us today in this amazing, beautiful Cancun in person, and even the ones online can enjoy some of the views of where we are. I am delighted to welcome you to the most important event of the year and to my home country, Mexico. Thank you very much.
Distinguished guests, could you please welcome the Secretary of Tourism of Mexico, Miguel Torruco.
Muchas gracias.
Thank you very much. I would like to greet my friend, Mr. Governor of the state of Quintana Roo, Carlos Joaquin Gonzalez. I would also like to greet Mr. Christopher Nassetta, the President of the World Travel and Tourism Council. And of course, I would like to greet Gloria Guevara Manso, CEO, Chair and CEO of this prestigious organization at an international level. I would also like to greet my colleagues, ministers of tourism of the different countries that are here with us. I would like to greet all the distinguished colleagues, service providers of touristic services that are here with us today, and also I would like to greet the media. It is an honor that in the reactivation and recovery period of the touristic industry, after almost 13 months of a pandemic, this event is taking place in Mexico. This is really important, and we would like to tell you that we receive you with open arms and the warmth that characterizes the peoples of Mexico. The President of our country, Andrés Manuel López Obrador, sends through myself greetings and wishes success in the works that will be carried out for the benefit of this wonderful activity. Mexico is a highly privileged country. Mexico has a millenary history that includes enigmatic cultures, rich traditions and customs. A clear example of that is the Mayan culture that includes several states of the southern region of Mexico, such as Quintana Roo. And by the way, our state, the most visited state in terms of tourism in Latin America, is Quintana Roo, and Quintana Roo accounts for 36% of tourism movement in our country. We're hopeful that in Mexico we will have a gradual recovery in our sector because we have a natural and cultural heritage. We have sound touristic infrastructure, and we also have quality in our service, and particularly we have businessmen that are betting on Mexico as they've done in the past. We would like to recognize, to admire the private sector of our country. We are in the threshold of looking at tourism in a different way. It is time to make decisions and to take commitments and responsibilities in order to safeguard the future of tourism. Let us focus on recovery and regeneration of the touristic heritage with a sustainable approach. Let us build international and regional partnerships that will allow to bring efforts together, including governments, businessmen, academicians, and all those that are part of the touristic chain value. Please be welcome. Please be welcome to Mexico. That in Nahuatl means the navel of the half moon. Today it is my privilege to be present and in front of the captains that are driving world tourism, and I can attest that with their talent, with their vision, with their experience, and in coordination with national governments of around the world, we will be able to defeat the pandemic. Let us work together to get ahead in this beautiful activity. Thank you very much, and please be welcome to Mexico.